Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new episode that I just put up. Um, I've been away for a while, so please forgive me. I'm doing my update because I noticed an uptick for some crazy on YouTube. I don't know if YouTube is doing something with the uptick, but I'm getting a lot of subscribers, which thank you very much for subscribing. And remember, keep on subscribing and hitting those notifications, and as well as a lot of comments. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today is the comments, and especially the people that follow me doing the adult videos. As you know, um, as you know, I'm an adult video producer, director, and I film gay porn. That's what I do for a living. I started my business in 2001, and I still film. I'm partly kind of semi-retired, but I'm still filming and I'm still cranking it out for a major website, and well, we're filming for two major websites. So with that being said, I just want to remind everybody we're a production studio. A lot of people get freaked out when they hear porn studio, but I think a lot of people get miscommunication and misunderstand what a porn production is. Yes, we film people being nude and having sex on camera for entertainment purposes only. I get that. But it is a production. We have lights, we have cameras, just like I'm doing this right now. You know, there's a camera in front of me and I'm talking to air right now. I'm talking to a lens. So there's audio, there's color correction, there's everything is, when it comes to filming porn, everything is choreographed and everything is scripted. Now, a lot of people have this idea that we're pimps, we do human trafficking, nothing of the sort. Just like any production studio, we put out a casting call all over the internet. And even if you go to any porn site, gay, straight, whatever you watch in between, on the bottom of the main page, it says become a model. And 100% of the models that came through these doors since 2001 all applied. I don't sit at a bus stop station and sit there and entice young boys to come here and film, and we're having sex and drugs and rock and roll and everything of the sorts. No, they apply, they go through an interview process that's very, very intense. And I don't mean sexually intense. I mean, you know, we talk to them about everything from being mentally ill, how, you know, sexually they are, how they perform in front of the camera, how they are the personality disorders, if they have any drug problems and alcoholism problems, things of that nature. And a little bit of their background, where they're coming from, who they are, and the type of person we get. Because you have to understand that when we film them, we're seeing their most intimate parts of their body, and they're doing something that's very intimate, that it's not a normal job. You know, when you get a job in a bank, or you're a secretary, or you work in retail store or in a restaurant, you're not at this level where you're having sex in front of the customers, you're having sex in front of the camera. So it's a little bit different, but all in all, we're a production studio. We're not a therapy studio. We're not social services. We're not their mother. We're not their father. We just want to film porn for entertainment purposes. No one gets hurt. Everything is controlled, choreographed, stories are told. We sometimes embellish the story to make a simple story that's boring to something that it makes it out like, you know, they're desperate or whatever the case may be, and they need to do this for the money. So don't get reality and the real life skewed with the fantasy world. And I think that's the problem with when people watch porn. They get the two worlds collided together, and it meshes together, that they forget that this is entertainment and this is fantasy. You know, again, there's no such thing as Star Wars. Luke Skywalker is just a character in a Star Wars movie. There's no real Darth Vader. There's no Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, there's no Raiders of the Lost Ark. Those are all movies to entertain us. And the same thing, of course, I'm not a Steven Spielberg or George Lucas or anything else like that, but we're in the production business to do a fantasy and to entertain the masses. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I do for a living. So don't get it skewed for real life. Now, 2 years ago, we posted Where Are They Now? And unfortunately, that post turned into where I was talking about all the models that passed away. Now, recently on the uptick that I've gotten, a lot of these comments, people are accusing me of, oh, I'm a horrible person, we should offer them therapy, we should have a psychologist on hand, oh, it sounds like all your models pass away and die, the porn industry is a horrible industry, how dare you? I get the comments and I understand your viewpoint as how you see it, but it's not like that. Yes, it's very sad that I did that update and I talked about the guys that passed away and where are they now. But I also did another one of the models that were alive and moved on with their life from doing porn. But it seems that the guys that passed away happens to be my number one top rated, the most viewed one out of all the scenes and the episodes on my channel that I uploaded has become the most popular. So I just want to just take away some of these myths that I'm reading on these comments, and it's just like, whoa, it's some of them are just so out of line. It makes my mind like I want to go blow up here. So first of all, we're a production studio, and like I said before, we're not a therapy session. We're not the welfare department. We're not social services. We're a production studio. We house the models, we feed them, we treat them like gold, we treat them, some of them, better than their family. Now, with that being said, when we hire a model that has a drug problem or have mental illness, they didn't become mentally ill or have a drug problem because they did porn. They came in that way. A lot of these boys have mental problems. I would say at least 80% of the boys that come through these doors and film this have some type of personality dysfunction, some type of personality disorder. They come from dysfunctional families, and that has nothing to do with filming porn. And I can speak for every porn studio that out there that films porn. When we hire models, we are just a production studio, and a lot of these boys come from dysfunctional families. We've had guys that their mother killed the father. We've had guys that went to party in Cancun and the mother bought cocaine with the son from some Mexican cartels, and then the mother got raped on a pool table while they held down the son while he watched his mother getting raped. I mean, folks, I can't make this stuff up. And this is not because they did porn, it's because they came from dysfunctional families prior to doing this. And while they're doing this, they come from dysfunctional families. And when they leave, they have, they go back to their dysfunctional lifestyle. And that's what they know. If they did drugs as a teenager before they filmed porn. They were doing drugs while they were doing, filming porn. And when they go home, they were doing drugs. Now, we don't allow drugs on here when we film doing our production. There's no drugs or alcohol drinking. So when some boys get here, they stay here for a week. All we ask for them to do is behave themselves. They're a guest in our home. We just want to film them and have a good time. But some guys can't handle it because if they don't get their fix of meth or they need to have a drink of vodka or rum or whatever they drink, they by the fourth day in, they start getting crazy and cuckoo and they start acting up. And most of the times, those kind of guys, unfortunately, we have to bring back to the airport and send them back home because we do not tolerate anybody who comes here mentally ill, disrupts our business and our production, and makes us uncomfortable with the other models. So just keep that in mind when you make those comments. Really think about what really goes on behind the scenes. We're not the catalyst of them murdering themselves or overdosing, DUIing, and all that other stuff. And remember, when I mention those boys, that's only a handful of guys. We've had thousands and thousands and thousands of boys since 2001 come across these doors and that we filmed. We have files and files and files of so many boys that have done this. And just to name a few, because now we're talking about death, let's talk about the successes. One of the famous models that we had, the most popular one, is Diesel. Diesel came to us. He applied, and I gave him a chance. And when he came here, he was hooked on meth. He had a low self-esteem of himself. He was actually a loser. But when he came here and we treated him better than his family, and we gave him self-worth, and we told him he wasn't a loser, and we ate dinner at the dinner table like a family, and we talked to these models, and we listened to them, and we heard their story, we consulted with them. And guess what? When Diesel left here, his first time filming here, he had a new life. He walked out of here, he felt good about himself, and slowly but surely, he stopped doing and he stopped partying and he got his act together. He met a woman and got married. And he doesn't have children with her, but he basically adopted her kids, and now he's like an adoptive father to her kids. He has a good job, he has a home, he has a car, and he doesn't do drugs anymore. And we also have another gentleman that started with us at 18 years old. The model's name is Mike King, or some of you may know him as Cousin Mikey. Mikey, where is he today? Well, Mikey's doing very well. When he came here, he was homeschooled. He had no social skills whatsoever. He didn't even know how to tie his shoelaces or eat at the dinner table. He was raised by his grandmother, and his grandmother homeschooled him. And he didn't even know who his mother was. He thought his mother was his older sister. It ended up that his older sister was his mother, that the mother was a drug addict, and the grandmother ended up adopting him and homeschooled him. So when he came to us, he had no social skills. But by coming here at the age 18 and starting to do adult videos, he also got self-worth. He got self-esteem. It built him up. He learned how to tie. I showed him how to tie his shoelace. I was a father figure to him that he never even had a father figure in his life, because I think his father died of a drug overdose, and he didn't know from a home life. So when we sat at the dinner table, we got to know him. I showed him how to cut his steak, how to slice his bread, how to eat like a normal, productive human being, how to tie his shoes, and how to conduct himself in social settings. That today, now he's married, he has a very good job, he drives in a very expensive car, he travels, and he has a beautiful home that he bought, and he leads a very successful life because from us, he learned how to have those life skills. There was another one we called AJ. He was one of the doctors and the nurses on our other site that we filmed, our medical fetish site, and he was homeless. He came out of the closet. He came from a very religious family, and guess what? His mother and father kicked him out. He was couch surfing because they damned him to hell, and they didn't want anything to do with him because he was gay. And guess what? He turned to porn, and he took the money that he was filming doing this, and he continued going to school, and he went to cosmetic school. And guess what? Now he travels all over the world doing cosmetology, but on a different level, catering to a very, very wealthy clientele that they fly him all over the world. Everywhere that you imagine, from Thailand to Japan to Singapore to Australia to England to Germany, all through the Central and South America and all over the United States, making a mega bucks, where now he has his own line of products that he started. Because why? Because we gave him a chance. And these are successful stories. He wasn't doing, and these boys, they weren't doing drugs and they were cleaning themselves up. They were getting an education. We have another one that we call Tank Shane on the website. And if you remember Tank Shane, he started his own business. He was artistic. He knew how to customize and build things. So with the money he was doing, he started his own business, and he became very successful in his own business, and he started his own company. And now he has a home, he drives a nice car. He does very, very well. We also have Tyler, that everybody knows him as Tyler Evans. He was one of our top models. He started with us as a model. We hired him in our office to do office work, and then he started managing and started operating our business, and he learned skills here. And then when he finally left our office, he went back home and he had a skill set, and he knew better. He knew right from wrong. He knew how to establish himself. He knew how to talk to business. He knew how to deal with what I call shit kickers and all that other stuff. And what he did was he went to school and he bettered himself. And now he's a therapist working with youths who are drug addicts and alcoholics, and basically that's what he's been doing. And he also has bought a home. He's very successful. He drives a very nice car, and we have countless of boys that went to school, went to college, and made something of themselves. So a lot of them, most of them, 98% of the models that came through here are not dead. They're not drug addicts. They're not. Even today, the models that we have today, many of them are just working. They're going to school, they're going to college, and they know college is their first priority. Work is their first priority. It's just that in this day and age, things are so expensive right now. You can still have a job, but for some reason, the job, the job only pays so much that what happens is that they can't make the ends meet. Rent is very expensive, food is very expensive, car payment, car insurance. So they do this for extra money, but they're focused. They're not getting drunk or drugged. They're not coming here with mental illness, and they're doing something productive with their life, and they're not squandering this money. We have a lot of kids. We have a guy that his wife just had a baby, and all that money is going for diapers and baby furniture and to better his family. And again, he's not going out there doing meth or crack or smoking large amounts of weed and doing cocaine and heroin and all that other stuff. No, so again, when you leave those comments, it's very disturbing because you're not getting the full picture. No, I'm not some evil person that brings boys here and we feed them with drugs and then they die. Those are choices that when someone comes and they film for us, that's a choice they make. They apply to our studio. And if they fall through the cracks, that they have a mental illness or they have a drug problem, that's something that they choose to do. And you can't blame the porn studio as a catalyst because they're doing porn. And that goes for any porn studio. Just because a model, female, male, whatever the case may be, we hear a lot of the harder stories about the model's death, suicide, drug overdose, DUI. But there's a lot of models out there that take in their money and started their own business. They went to school, they're successful, they became hairdressers, they became doctors, lawyers, open up a restaurant. They're mechanics. We have one boy, his name is Charlie. Charlie, he went to school to become a mechanic. He's certified by General Motors. And he came here because he couldn't find a job. And then when he had low self-esteem, he felt like he wasted his time going to college. So going to school to become a mechanic and becoming GM certified. And I told him, Charlie, are you crazy? I go, don't do porn. This is not for you. And matter of fact, we talk a lot of boys out of doing this because when we find out their story when they're here, we tell them, you go and you pursue what you love to do. And in Charlie's case, he took this money and he started opening up his own little mechanic shop. Now, he worked from home. He started buying his tools. He started working on cars, friends' cars, neighbors' cars, and word got around that he's a very good mechanic. And because he took the money from here and invested into his own little mechanic business, now he's self-employed. He has a shop that he fixes cars. Now he has guys that work underneath him. So again, he didn't go into UI. He didn't kill anybody. So you can say the catalyst for him is that we made him a better life. And people say, why do you continue doing this? I'm older already. I'm semi-retired. I do this because I love the success stories. I love to hear when models turn around and say, no, I don't want to film anymore because I got a really good job. I love that. Or they call me up and they say, thank you, David, because of you, I got my head straightened out. I stopped doing drugs. I stopped doing this. And I really realized that I have a life to live, that I have now, I have self-esteem and I can do something better with my life. And those are the success stories that I like to hear about. And those are the success stories that I mostly hear about when a model contacts me and they thank me for putting them in the right direction. So yeah, it's not about filming porn and having sex and running around with drugs and alcohol and we're doing something immoral and disgusting. It's about having these boys get back on the road, a road that they don't have low self-esteem and they don't feel like they're losers. And that's why I continue to do this, because I like when they come here and they have the lowest self-esteem, and I don't take advantage of them because they're low and down and out. I I straighten them out, and when they come here, I talk to them like a father figure, like an adult should treat them. Because a lot of these guys, their family members, even the good ones that have a head on their shoulders and they're just trying to figure it out, their families, their mothers and fathers don't talk to them. And when they hear it from a stranger and they come here and they realize, wow, David and Eddie, they really make sense to me. And then they're on the path of success. That's the success stories that we like to hear. And that's why I'm very glad that I can change people's lives by doing adult videos and filming them and meeting all kinds of different guys. So this way they can go through a path of improvement and improving their lives. So when you come down for me and you come after me with all these crazy comments, don't bash me, because that's not right. You're not getting the whole story, and you're colliding fantasy with reality, and you're not getting the whole picture. So for those people that leave those comments, and I know you're still going to leave those crazy comments and everything else like that, but I'm going to ignore those comments, and the ones that give the positive comments, I'm going to give you my thumbs up and my heart, and I'll reply back to you. But for those ones that leave the crazy comments, I'm going to leave them up there because I find them funny, and I hope other people find them funny as well. So I'm going to leave them up there unless it's a real attack. I will delete it, but I'm not going to take the time to respond back to you with those crazy comments. I don't have time, and I don't have time for that energy as well, that negative energy. So you can think whatever you want to think after you watch this, but leave your comments below and let me know what you think. And also, if you like my video and you like my channel, please subscribe, hit the notification button. And if you watch my other episode, I am working on a blog, so the blog information, if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, will be down below as well. So check out my the subscription. The blog should be coming out after the new year, so I'm working on it. It's a work in progress, so a lot of people that want to read my blog, go right ahead, because it's a lot of in-depth about my life and where I come from and who I am and where I came from and where I'm going and all the horrors and everything in between in my life. So if you like everything, please subscribe, check everything out, and I'll look forward to seeing you again on my next update. Thank you, guys.